And welcome into Dental Profits. I'm so excited to have a wonderful guest, an industry insider. Her name is Julie Damato. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, folks. I'm Sean Crabtree.
And I'm Cameron Bailey.
Welcome into Growth Profits.
Coming to you live each week.
We don't want to change the way you do business.
We want to change the way you're thinking about your business.
We want you to have better results, happier clients, and make more money.
Let's get it started.
Welcome into Dental Profits. I am your host, Sean Crabtree. This show is all about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and enjoying the ride. And all of that goes very well with the conversation that I'm about to have with my guest, who is the Southeast Regional Manager for RevenueWell. You think you know RevenueWell? Just wait until you hear this conversation with Julie Damato. Julie, welcome in. I am so happy to have you here. How are you?
Hey, Sean, thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Listen, I appreciate you taking time out to be with us here. Now, Jules, tell me. Sorry, I called you Jules right off the bat. See, I knew I was
It's all good. It's all good.
So, Julie, tell us. By the way, Jules is her nickname, and only people close to her can call her that. So that's just me. You can't do that. Okay. If you're listening, her name's Julie. All right, not Jules. So, Jules, tell us, how did you get into? I mean, you've got some interesting story. You've been through a lot. You've had some struggles in the small business space. I mean, give us a little bit of background about you and sort of what brought you to this place at RevenueWell.
Sure. I would have never thought in a million years I would end up in dental of all places. I actually started out as a stay-at-home mom a couple years ago, and before that I was in hospitality. So here it is, stayed home with my two beautiful girls for about 5 years, tried to get a job, and nobody would hire me. So my really good friend kind of pulled me aside, said, hey, you should start your own business. So I actually started a marketing company, and for a very brief time, I was a marketing director for a real estate investment mortgage company. Wrote a business plan, presented it to the president and his wife, part owner, and they basically said, hey, we want to think about it. And I was like, I can need to go get my teeth cleaned. So I ended up going to sit in the dental chair of all places. And I was going through a really tough time in my life. I was going through a divorce. I just wrote this amazing business plan. And it's like the one question that dentists probably are kind of like, oh, I'm not sure really going to ask, but he's like, is everything okay? And I just fell to pieces, absolutely fell to pieces, crying. I'm like, no, my life is horrible. I'm going through a divorce. I was like, I wrote a business plan. I can't get those hours back. So anyways, end up finding out my dentist goes, well, I own a couple other practices. And I was like, wait, what? You're only my dentist and nobody else. So he goes, why don't you come back tomorrow and talk to my business partner and myself? And we're actually looking for a marketing person. And I'm like, wiping my eyes, like, oh, okay, like putting myself back together. So end up working with the Rivals Group for about 2 to 3 years.
Those guys are good. I mean, they're a well-known DSO in that area.
Yes, in the Charlotte metro area, they had several practices. I think when we left, we had something like 13. It was crazy. And they were really good to me. They taught me a lot about the dental industry. And I ended up calling RevenueWell for a testimonial. And I really fell in love with RevenueWell was the customer service. It just, great company. End up 3 weeks after talking to them, giving a testimonial, come working for them.
Awesome.
So I am kind of fruits of the labor. Like I've true testimonial. I've used the product. It works. And now kind of my favorite part is, yes, I do sell RevenueWell, but kind of helping people customize it is kind of my flair of enjoyment of part of my job.
And I mean, you've been with RevenueWell for several years, but just in that short amount of time that you're telling the story here, I mean, things have kind of changed a lot at RevenueWell, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was in
there's so much
number
happening.
49, and now we're just growing like by leaps and bounds.
Well, so what a cool story, by the way. So tell us, I mean, okay, what is the coolest thing and this is what if you're driving down the road listening to this, or sitting in your car, or whatever you're doing. I mean, I think this is the thing that I don't think most people really think of when they think of revenue well. You guys have a lot of cool things happening that I'd love for you to be able to talk about, but I would submit most people are like me, and they think of patient communication strictly when they think of revenue well. But revenue well is so much more than that, and there's so many more things that are going on. Tell us about that, and tell us what has you excited about that.
So yeah, that's a great question, Sean. So I just said I love helping people. I call it pimping out your revenue well dashboard. But basically, there's so many options to customize it, and one of the coolest things that people don't even realize that there's this great thing called a microsite, and it's a landing page for people to find practices. It's our patientconnect365.com website is a great resource and tool to help the end user find a dentist, right? And so our people have this great landing site, and they're able to customize it and put videos and pictures and things like that on it. So you have videos, right? So you have this awesome free tool right now called YouTube. And I don't think people are utilizing as much as they should, because
No, I would totally agree. Totally agree.
Think of this great space of people are watching videos more and more, right? Social media, we're texting videos to our friends, things of that nature. So in Revenue Well, we have places where you can add YouTube to the software. And not only the microsite, but think about treatment, right? So you have people coming in every day.
Okay, wait. I want to save that one. That's good. That's good. Now that's a big one for me. And that when you and I were talking about that, that's very cool. But I want to hold on to that, because if I'm listening to this, okay, there are some young doctors out there who they just picked up on exactly what you said. Oh my gosh, I got a microsite. I can put some videos out there, and they're seeing all that. There are also some guys who are listening to this and they're going, "Now wait a minute, like video, like on a microsite, like I don't really get it. What would that, how's that going to benefit me if I'm a 40-something doctor? Let's pretend." And, I'm rocking along in, let's say, Nashville, Tennessee. All right. Or Charlotte, North Carolina. Explain to me the value of me putting videos out there in the form that you're talking about. Hold on to the other part, though.
Okay, I will.
Right.
I'll do that for you, Sean. All right. So let's think about this. You are spending advertising money to promote your practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to paint the patient experience before anybody ever sets foot in something. Like, for example, like when you buy something, you do your research, right? Like whether it's a house or a pair of shoes or
Sure.
A service, people are reading reviews, and it's really nice when you can watch a video to see what that might be like before you actually experience it, so you can judge it whether or not you're going to use it. So that can even go back to dental. So think of, you have this microsite page, right? And you have the opportunity to put videos in there. Why wouldn't you paint the patient experience before they even set foot into the office? Showing them what your culture is like, showing them what your team members are like. Basically putting everything together in a nice little package all in one place for somebody to do as much research as they can, but they only have to go to one place.
And this is why Julie and I get along so well, because she gets it. Your culture is the most important thing, and that's what you want to put out there on display. People buy you, people, and the culture more than they ever buy what it is that you, right?
It's very true.
Now, I got to go back one more, though, before you get to the good stuff. If I don't know what a microsite is, explain that to me in layman's terms if I'm listening to this.
So you think of a web page. People understand web page is
Sure.
multiple pages. A microsite is kind of a landing page. It's pretty much like one page. It kind of scrolls forever a little bit. So it's basically a small version of a website.
And the value of a microsite for somebody who doesn't know versus a website is what for you guys?
So think about the doctors that don't have websites out there. It gives them, I mean, websites can be kind of costly. Let's be real. And remember the day that when you had a website, it was like, oh, wow. But now if you don't have a website, people are like, you're not a legit business.
You don't exist.
Right. So think about the doctors that can't afford a large website. It gives them a venue to have a website. That microsite is their website.
And again, I think most people think of you guys as simply a patient communications. I mean, this is a whole new arena. And it's not just about a microsite with a landing page, and it's not just about their ability to put out videos and what I would describe, say, having people meet your culture and your people, which is great. It's an opportunity for you to create sort of a reputation in addition to what people might be saying about you, which I hope you're also cultivating. But that is, with reviews and so forth, this is your opportunity to create all of that in a very professional way.
Yes,
or as relaxed as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Completely agree.
But there's a whole other aspect of this that I want you to share. And you and I have a mutual friend in the business. His name is Kevin Barnett. Kevin, I think, is I would submit that Kevin is not only an amazing entrepreneur. The guy is a marketing genius, and so he has developed this new technology that you guys partner with him in, right, on videos. So I could use my phone for this stuff, or you guys have the ability to put me with him. I can do all of that kind of thing in a professional manner with very little interruption to my business and all of that. But there's another aspect of this that I stopped you on, and I think this is the coolest thing that people don't really make use of because they don't fully get it. And dude, throw this out there. Julie, this is the cool stuff right here.
This is the secret sauce. There's so many tools that you can throw at marketing, right? You're going to put together a marketing budget and you're going to throw thousands and thousands of dollars to try to reach new patients and try to bring people to your practice. But you got to think about it. YouTube is owned by Google, right? And YouTube videos to upload them right now are free. So you have a free tool that you can utilize that can interface with your website. So let's think about this. So one of our automatic features is called post-op instructions. So think about all the procedures that you do all day long that require a post-op instruction. So think about the things that your patients you see that day, think about the patients that you're seeing that week, and then think about the patients that you're seeing that month. That's a lot of patients, right?
Tons.
So you have this YouTube video of the do's and don'ts of what you're supposed to do after your procedure. Those patients, think of all those patients each day, each week, each month are watching these post-op instructions. They're sitting there on their iPhone and they're watching these instructions. And it's coming from your YouTube channel, right? And they're in close proximity to your practice. So from a GPS location, they're kind of living close to where you are. That is going to organically help your website. Why? Because people from a GPS location are watching this. It's linked to your website, which is going to help your search engine optimization, which is huge. And it's a free tool that is very much underutilized.
I would submit it's very much underutilized. And this is like a trifecta of wins is what this is. Because, and I've got some of my clients do this on a regular basis. This is a win-win all the way around. It's not just that you get to put out there the things that do's and don'ts, really good stuff after a procedure, but also just some tips and tricks and some things that you might want to do. It's not only great content and great information that's on a medium that people are using for consumption nowadays, okay, all of that, granted, but it's also the ability for you to touch your patients in a video format where they get to see your face, hear your voice, put it all together versus calling somebody at the front desk and asking them a question. You're the person who's putting the content out there. You're the person who did the procedure. You've already communicated your culture. I mean, this is a win-win all the way around, and the added benefit of, as you said, search engine optimization from an organic standpoint. I mean, this is really cool stuff, and we've had guys that have gone to the nth degree on this. We've got some clients that will also do little fun videos that that they can go through Revenue Well with. Happy birthday, or maybe something goofy, happy Groundhog's Day, or 4th of July. You can make those personal messages that you could set up through Revenue Well based on each patient's birthday. You could do. There's just so many things that we're not even talking about here that.
Oh gosh,
it really gets me excited, Julie. I gotta be honest with you. I get pumped up about it.
Let me tell you that I have a really funny story to share if I have some time.
Sure.
I have, I get this is disconnecting. It's not the personal touch. People like to hear our voice. Well, I'm going to share a story with you about a practice that did the ultimate personal touch. Is during Christmas time, they do a cookie swap. And they basically take their cookie recipes and they put it in their Christmas email. And this is the most coveted email because on one day during the Christmas holiday season, they don't tell their patients what day, but they pick a day that when those patients come in, they actually get to take home a tin of those cookies.
Oh, cool.
And then they wait for that email to come out. And it's Susie, the hygienist, snickerdoodle recipe or things like that. And that's pretty personal if you're giving grandma's sugar cookie recipe away to patients.
Right.
That's pretty personal.
Right.
So there's a personal touch. You can personalize it. And just that alone, take that, guys, use it. You'd be surprised that people will look for that day on your calendar during your Christmas holiday season. It'll be the most coveted appointment day.
Listen, that's a cool story, and that's a great idea. I got another one for you. I have a client that, and these guys had fun with it, right? They went out on their these guys are on the second floor, and they went out on their deck. It's in a metro area, but they went out on their front deck. And they're all just like, in their scrubs or whatever. And they have just a phone. I'm not talking about a high-end, camera equipment. You just got a phone there. And so the doctor really likes this particular Rolling Stone song. And so they walk out on the veranda there on the deck, and it's looking very professional. And the doctor says, "Listen, I just heard that today is your birthday. And I just wanted to say," and then they fire up the Stones, and all the girls pull out happy birthday hats, and they're blowing the things, and throwing up confetti.
I love
happy birthday to you, right? And they have that stored, and they send it out specifically through Revenue Well to those people. I mean, that's a very personal thing. Who the heck gets that? And that stuff is looked at.
Patients. Yeah, Imagine if you got this great happy birthday video and you're having lunch at Panera with your good friend. You're like, look what my dentist just sent me. Exactly right. Who's your dentist? They're awesome.
Right. Like, who does that?
Who sends stuff like that? Yeah. My dentist does. I don't know about your dentist, but my dentist is pretty freaking cool.
Seriously, that is good stuff. And I have to tell you, it is underutilized. If you have Revenue Well, you have this ability, you're not utilized. If you don't have Revenue Well, you need to get Revenue Well so you can utilize all the stuff. You can be as creative as you want to for very little dollars, if any. You don't have to spend any money. YouTube is free. You got a phone. All you do is do it and put it out there. If you don't like it, you can take it down and do it again. You can edit it, whatever you want to do.
You can make it unlisted so the only people that see it are the people you send it to, so it doesn't even have to be public if you want it to. You can censor it.
There you go. And if I don't even see, now some of us who are listening, like, what is unlisted? Unlisted means
everybody's just like, wait, what did she just say?
Right. Unlisted means that the only people who get it are somebody that you send the link to, right? You can make it public for everybody to see. You can make it unlisted so you can send it out and only they can open it up. And it doesn't even have to, it can be right there on YouTube. Very, very cool. Very cool. I really get excited about this stuff. And again, I think people, I don't think a lot of people realize that that's some of the stuff that you guys do at Revenue Well. And the people that do, I don't know what they're waiting on. What are you waiting on? Jump out there and do it. You got a phone. You got YouTube. You got Julie. What else do you need to know? Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, you know what, Sean? Follow through is like the hardest thing for people to do. They come up with great ideas, but the people that can actually act upon those ideas, those are your movers and your shakers.
You know what? I think you're right. And I think that's one of the values of this podcast that we do. So you're listening right now. You have to make a note. You have to do it. You have to just do it. You have to do it. The guys that we have are doing this, I have to tell you, are having a blast. Julie, they're loving it. They're getting creative. I mean, and if I explain to you what some of these videos are, it's not nearly as cool when you watch it, right? I mean, we've got a hygienist that she's just very creative, and she does these fun little videos, and they put them out on a regular basis. All of it, if it can lay out and support in a way that supports your SEO, I mean, even better. But just the value of you getting in front of your patients and staying in front of them, I think is very cool in a different sort of way. We've not talked about this, but and maybe you have some stats on this. There are a lot of people who believe. You guys can hear all that? Can they hear that, Mr. Producer? We have some construction guys upstairs because
I can't hear anything.
Okay,
You're good.
They got some music blaring and some hammers going up there. I think we haven't talked about this a lot, but I think the thing that we find, and maybe you have some stats on this, is that people don't think their emails are open very often, and I don't disagree with that. However, when you've got a video in there or a link to a video, that stuff is watched. It is looked at. Do you have stats on that?
I don't have stats on it. I do know this, that if you have a person that you know, a picture or a video, you're more likely to open it because you recognize that person is in picture. And not everybody has the preview pane open sometimes in their email, but the ones that they do, and they automatically recognize, hey, I know that. Wait, is that my doctor or my hygienist? And then people are curious because they want to know what's happening in that video. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes to read anymore. It's weird.
That's true. Nobody wants text, and even if they don't know the person, they're much more likely, because it's a face, to jump into it, and that's really true. What else you guys have going on that you're as pumped about?
Oh gosh, our newest launch of Forms, being able to be completely paperless, which is really cool. It's not interfacing with everybody, so the cat might be out of the bag. Sorry, guys.
Oops.
But with EagleSoft.
Right here. You heard it right here.
I know. Oops, sorry. There's the leak. It's me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But no, basically, new patient experience, right? So everybody's on their phones and on their iPads and computers and things like that. But to be completely paperless is, a challenge with some offices. So we have a new product that we just launched, which is called Forms. So patients are able to fill out their new patient paperwork, and it automatically filters into the data fields in EagleSoft.
Very cool.
Very cool. Completely paperless. And then imagine having an iPad in the office. Okay, so the patient didn't necessarily do it before with their appointment,
so
but they have an iPad.
That is so cool.
And then think about treatment plans. They can sign a treatment plan with their finger, and it goes back into EagleSoft. Very cool things. Very cool things. You guys, if you want to check it out, you can always visit us at revenuewell.com, or you can email me down below. Is it still down there?
Revenuewell.com. Yeah, where is it? Right there?
I'm like, wait, right here?
That's it. J Damato at revenuewell.com. Jules, let me ask. I mean, you've been in a lot of practices over the years.
Over 500.
Okay. So give me the poop. What would you say? You only get one. Okay. You got one.
Okay.
What is the one thing that you would tell anybody, doesn't matter where they are, young or old, new or on the tail end, whatever it is of their career? What is the one thing that you see that is the biggest shout out as far as a red flag that you would throw out there that they need to know?
Having a sunshine pumper at the front. Do not put negative Nancy at the front person greeting people. I can't tell you how many times I have walked into an office and you have frowny face Fran who is not happily greeting people. Like, what are we doing here?
That's your aunt, Mr. Producer. Bounty face Fran.
Yeah, that just happened. Negative Nancy.
Right.
She hates everything and hates everybody. No, you need to have somebody that is welcoming and is going to greet with a smile and that pleasant feeling. So when you first walk into a practice, it goes a long way when they walk in, they're like, "Hey, Sean, how's it going?" And they remembered like 3 things that had happened to you in the past year. "Hey, how was your vacation to Mexico?"
Right.
I mean, having that is it speaks volumes. And I would say more times than I could want to, there's wrong personnel at the front.
I would not disagree with that. And a lot of times that person is a great doer of things, but they're not a good what did you call it?
Sunshine pumper.
They're not a good sunshine
They got to
pumper.
pump the sunshine.
That's right. If they're not letting the sunshine in, it's not working out. I totally agree with you on that. So tell us, in the lightning round here, we're down to the lightning round. If I'm a young, let's call it millennial, okay?
Mhm.
I'm 2 years into my practice. I got a lot of concerns, right? What is the one thing that you would tell me?
One, you need to find a mentor, somebody that's been through it. Having a mentor to guide you, a valid mentor, somebody good
I think the key is valid.
Valid mentor, because I've had people pick bad mentors. But if you have a really good mentor that's been through the struggles that you're going through, that can help guide you in the right path, that is going to help you, because you may not have the answer to everything, and you might be doing your research and you don't know what's right or what's wrong, but having that mentor to take you to that next level is really important.
I totally agree, and I can tell you that one of the biggest challenges we find is people don't qualify their mentor, and so they're talking to their cousin Eddie, or their uncle, or their best friend, or whatever, and those are not mentors. All right, you need to decide whether or not your mentor needs to be a dentist, or whether or not your mentor needs to be a business person, or both, and make sure that they understand the time that we're in, and make sure that they're relative. Right? Otherwise, they're not going to be a good mentor.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And the other thing I would say is create life balance. You can get so burned out so quickly. I think spending your time equally and building your business is also spending time with yourself and finding out things that drive you personally and creating that life balance.
I'm curious, why do you think it is that lots of dentists are burned out? What do you think causes that?
Oh,
what do you see?
mean, you're coming out of school with all this debt, right? And you want to hurry up and pay it off because it's the dark cloud that hangs over you. I think trying to get to that, to not only establish your name in the industry and the town that you're in, but also to pay off that debt. And everybody has debt. It's just you have to create a work-life balance in order to be good at what you're doing so that you don't become the negative Nancy.
You know what? I think that is very good advice. One of the things that we see a lot is that people are they are concerned about that debt, but they find themselves getting caught in the trap of doing work, and they don't realize that at the end of the day they own the place. You know what? You can control everything. Look at all the things that you have right now. You have a revenue well, and you're not utilizing, but about this much of it, right?
Absolutely.
Look at all of the things that you have the opportunities to do. There are things that you don't like doing in your practice. Guess what? It's America. You don't have to do it. Change it up. You have all kinds of ways that you can control. Don't allow yourself to be caught in the trap of just doing the work all of the time. Make it something that you enjoy. I totally agree. Julie Damato, I very much appreciate you being with us. This has been a blast. You are a heck of a lot of fun, as always. I hope you'll come back and keep us up to date with all of the great things that are going on with Revenue Well. We love Revenue Well, and I think most people, and that's the reason I wanted to have you on here, I think most people still think of it as a patient communication company, and it is so much more.
Oh, Sean, thank you.
Listen, I very much, really, I appreciate it, and I hope you'll come back. If people want to get in touch with you, obviously they can find you at Revenue Well, or they can contact you directly at jdamato@revenuewell.com, right?
Absolutely.
Julie, thanks so much. Thanks for sharing, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
You too. Thanks, Sean. Take care.
This has been Dental Profits, the show that is all about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and enjoying the ride. I'm Sean. I'll see you next time.